Hello, everyone. Welcome in. It is another wonderful Tuesday edition. I'm Tammy. I'm the Siberian Wind, and I'm glad you're here. I've got Susan and Judy and Rita, Charlotte, Dawn, Mary, Rita. Oh, I've already said Rita, but that's okay. Rita gets her name said twice. Linda, welcome in, everybody. I'm glad you guys are here. If you've not already hit that thumbs up, please do so. And as always, super chats are always welcome. They will be going towards the giveaway on July 29th. July 29th, guys. It is coming up. Oh my gosh, we're almost through May. We are almost through May. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Welcome in. Welcome in. I'm glad you guys are here. Thank you so much for coming in tonight. Thank you for stopping into the chat. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. We are going to do something a little different tonight. Welcome in, Amber, I believe. Stitching Life Together. If you were Amber, just let me know if I got it right. I think I got it right, but let me know either way. So we're going to do something a little bit different tonight. I was asked to do this, and it's something that I kind of put off a little bit. Just trying to figure out exactly how I wanted to do it, all of that. So we've put it off for a little bit, so we're going to get into it here in the next few minutes. We're not going to start super early, I promise. I never start overly early. I like to give everybody Amanda, yes, okay, woohoo. I think I got that right. Did I get that right? Did I get that wrong? Okay. I will let somebody fill me in if I get it right or wrong. I can't remember. Oh my gosh, I can't remember. How are you guys doing tonight? What are you guys doing tonight? I mean, you guys are already here and it's just now 6 o'clock. I'm shocked and I'm blessed all at the same time. So thank you so much for being here. I appreciate it. So in case you were wondering what I am going to work on tonight, we are going to do a miniature version of a weighted blanket. So I know that may not be everybody's cup of tea. You may not want to do one of these. That is perfectly okay. There's nothing that says that you have to do everything that everybody else does. But if you've never seen or heard of a weighted blanket, welcome in, Alicia. Glad you're here. If you have not seen or heard of a weighted blanket, they're used by a lot of different people. Not everybody needs them. Not everybody wants them. Not everybody can use them. Sometimes a weighted blanket can be overwhelming for someone who does not need them. Welcome in, Katie. She's having Chinese dinner at a Chinese restaurant after sewing threads. Oh, I'm jealous. You didn't invite me. So not everybody needs a weighted blanket, but they do come in handy for a lot of different people. So my fabric that I'm going to use for this example is going to be just this flat color. It's a mint green. Like, this is a better representation of the color. It is a mint green color. So this is what we're going to be using. So just, in case you're wondering. And I'm just using a fat quarter. Your needs for making a weighted blanket will be different depending on who you're making it for and what you're making. So this is just going to be like a small little project that I'm going to do tonight. It's nothing major. It's not anything that, if you don't want to do one, you don't have to. I appreciate the likes and thumbs up and comments though, because that helps. But yeah, we're just going to make a little one so you guys can see the overall process of making a weighted blanket. One of the things when you are making a weighted blanket, especially if you are making one for, like, let's say you're going to make one for me, I would probably need a 20 to 25 pound weighted blanket based off of my height and my weight. If you go online, if you search how heavy should a weighted blanket be, that will tell you how heavy your blanket needs to be. Welcome in, Joyce. Glad you're here. And they are called blankets. They are not called weighted quilts. If you were to add batting to this, you could actually make a weighted quilt, but I wouldn't recommend it. When you start adding a lot of extra weight, um, it adds to it. So when you like, let's say you're going to go make a weighted blanket. If I were going to start one today for someone new. Oh, that's funny, Rita. Yay. My favorite fan is trying to get up to watch me. I love it. My four-legged friend, my four-legged fan. So when you are making a weighted blanket for someone, you do want to know what they need the weighted blanket for. So whether that is for autism spectrum disorder of any sort, whether it is restless legs, whether it is just sensory issues. Some people can handle a weighted blanket, some people can't. So don't just assume that your recipient is going to want a weighted blanket if they haven't specifically asked for it or you don't specifically know that they want one. So this is not something you'll just make as a random gift for just someone you know. If you don't know that they need it or want it, don't make one for them. Don't make one for them. I have restless legs, so I actually have a weighted blanket so that if Paladin were to retire or when I was in transition between my previous dog and Paladin, I had a weighted blanket to lay across my legs at night. Now I kick it off in the middle of the night because that's me. I can't sleep with that much weight all night. But restless legs is a good use for a weighted blanket. Some people find it comforting. Others, like Rita, she says she can't handle that heavy on her legs. Yeah, a lot of people can't handle it, and that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. But I know a lot of people do look at getting a weighted blanket or looking to make a weighted blanket for someone with autism because that tends to be something that is frequently prescribed for the autism spectrum, just because many people with the autism on the spectrum tend to benefit from the extra weight, keeping them stable. So that is entirely up to you. But I'm going to show you the process of how I make mine. I recently was commissioned to make a weighted lap pad for a young man who is in school. He's in like grade school or junior high, I think maybe, and he doesn't really want to stand out, but he needed a heavier weighted pad than what his school counselor had. So I was commissioned to do that. That is a whole different ballpark. I would not recommend trying that on your first try. Make just a regular weighted blanket. Rita says, what is sad? Having restless legs and neuropathy at the same time. I understand that. Charlotte says, her poor little dog shakes with fear in thunderstorms. Actually, yes. You could actually do this as an actual weighted vest for your dog. Instead of doing it as a blanket, you want to do it as a vest. Or if you pick up a pattern or you find a pattern online for like a sweater or a dog coat, a weighted dog coat would be perfect. That would give your dog the ability to be wrapped in it and not, feel like they need to escape from it. So that might also be an option as well. So this would actually be really good for some pets. Just make sure that you check with the weight of your animal. If you're going to make it for an animal, you want to go probably no more than 10% of their body weight. So let's say your animal is 10 pounds, you don't want to go more than 1 pound. Now, with that being said, oh yes, Chinese is yummy. So what I've got out today. All right, first I've got my fabric. This is whatever fabric you want to use. You can use a different fabric on one side and a different fabric on the other side. I'm just using one fabric because I don't need another weighted lap pad or blanket or anything right now. So this is just a sample. That's all this is going to be. This is just a fat quarter and we're going to turn it into a small sample. The other tools that I've got out, I have a kitchen scale. If you don't already have a kitchen scale or a scale that you can use, one thing to note is mine is on a plush surface. This is my ironing board, so it has a little bit of give to it. It may also not be 100% level. You want to make sure that your scale that you're using for the purposes of your weighted blanket is on a level surface and that it is on a hard surface. So like putting it on my sewing table or putting it on my cutting table would actually be better options. Joyce loves them in green. Absolutely. Oh yeah, absolutely. Definitely put Velcro. That would be a great way to do it. And I'll give you some tips along the way on how to adapt this to whatever pattern you're going to make. There's a lot of things that you can do with that. The other thing is, so when I go to turn my scale on, if I don't have anything on my scale, the first thing that goes onto my scale is going to be weighed. So let's say I put my metal measuring cup on there. That's going to be the thing that gets weighed. And I don't want to do that because this measuring cup is not going into the weighted blanket. It'd be quite uncomfortable. So make sure that you know how to operate your scale. Mine, I can turn it on with this measuring cup on there. It will zero out with the measuring cup on there. I can add my beads to that, and it's not going to count the measuring cup. So make sure that you know how to use your scale. Now, a lot of people want to do it in ounces, and that's fine if that's something that you understand how to do. I can never remember. Like, I don't know what it is about ounces, but I feel like they're so inaccurate. So I measure a lot of things in grams. Welcome in, Pam. Glad you're here. I measure a lot of things in grams. So you can just go to Google and type in your weight that you want the weighted blanket to be, whether that's, 5 pounds, whether that's 20 pounds, whatever it's going to be. You want to put that weight into Google. Just put, like, let's say it's 5 pounds. You put 5 pounds, 2 grams, just the word TO, grams. And Google will tell you what your weight that you put in should be converted to grams. There's a lot of online conversions that you can use and a lot of services that you can use. Google's the fastest, in my opinion. So you can just put in, I want to convert 20 pounds to grams, and it will tell you what that should be. So that's one thing that you're going to need. Let's see, scale reminds me she had to get one when Zelena's mom had the puppies, had to weigh them. Oh yeah, absolutely. Yeah, puppies are tiny. Puppies can be very, very tiny. Welcome in, Susie. Oh, she's long arming a quilt. Well, I'm glad you're listening in, so thank you. I appreciate that. All right, so I'm going to go back to the mint green that you guys love. I'm glad you guys love this fabric. This is actually, this is in one of my first quilts. Not my very first one, but one of my first ones. My son's little Noah's Ark quilt that I made him. And it is, it was bed sheet. That was, I think, what, there was selvage on it, so maybe it wasn't bed sheet. But oh my gosh, guys, this fabric's insanely old. Welcome in, Sean. Glad you're here. Glad you're here. Okay, so first and foremost, you're gonna need all 4 sides of your weighted blanket to be sewn. Okay, that's standard. All 4 sides are going to have to be sealed to keep everything in. Okay. If you are starting with 2 different fabrics, let's say I had a blue fabric out and this green, then what I would want to do is on one of the shorter sides, I would go ahead and put a seam. Since I'm working with one fabric and I'm going to just be folding it in half, I don't have to add that seam down there. I could if I wanted to, but I don't have to, okay? So the next step is you want to do your side seams, okay? And instead of doing just one seam and then turning it, what we're going to do and what I recommend doing is doing what's called a French seam. If you've not heard of a French seam before, what you're going to do is you're going to stitch a line. Welcome in, Zaza. You're going to stitch a line, and I'm going to stitch both sides. And then you're going to turn it wrong sides out. Right now, right sides are together. Not that it matters with this fabric. But you start with right sides together. You sew your seams. You turn it wrong sides out. No, wait. I'm sorry. Let me back up. Okay. If you've been listening to me, I apologize. Let me back up. Okay. So put your fabrics right sides together. My fabric, it doesn't matter, but to make a French seam, start with right sides together, and you're going to stitch your first seam. Then you're going to turn it wrong sides out, and then you're going to stitch again to encapsulate that seam. Now, I'm not going to do a full 1/4 inch seam. I'm going to do an 1/8 of an inch seam. And then when I flip it and do it again, I'm going to do the 1/4 inch seam. So you're going to take up about 3/8 of a seam total when you are doing a French seam this way. Now you can put a much bigger seam on there if you want. Making a bed runner into a weighted blanket would be really good. Yes, it would, Joyce. Absolutely. And you can do this with quilted fabric or quilted pieces. Let's say you want to take your quilt top. You want to have a beautiful quilt top, but you want to have a weighted blanket at the same time. What I would recommend doing is take your quilt top and layer it with a muslin, like whatever color, fabric that you have spare that's not going to show through. You can use white, you can use, cream. It's going to be it can be inexpensive fabric. I would not recommend, spending good money on whatever filler fabric you're going to use. You want to back the back of your quilt pieces so that the beads don't work their way out. So whatever your finished encasing is going to be, whatever your outside is going to be, just make sure that you have a solid piece of fabric that is in between that. Now, if you do need to make seams in your weighted blanket, which most weighted blankets aren't like king size, because that's going to be a pain to try to wash and dry. It's going to get really, really heavy, and I don't know of many washing machines or dryers that will take it. So most weighted blankets are no larger than a twin size for that reason. I do recommend hand washing and line drying, or lay flat to dry, because they will beat up a machine. Joy says her sister gave her a weighted blanket a couple years ago and couldn't deal with it, so just folded it down towards my feet and had it over on my legs. I like that though. That's ingenious to think of it doing a bed runner that way. All right, so now I have my little bitty 1/8 of an inch side seams done. I'm going to turn it. So now it would technically be wrong sides out. And you can take and press it. I probably will press this because it's fidgety. Amanda says she doesn't have a weighted blanket, but absolutely sleeps better with a heavy blanket. Yeah. So you could actually make your own. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. You don't really want, I don't know why they make that size of weighted blanket, but it is unreal how heavy that thing can be. And once you're underneath something that size, if you were to need to move or escape, you really need to have some body strength to do it. And especially if you're suffering from medical issues, which most people using a weighted blanket are, that makes it so much more challenging. Welcome in, Katie. Welcome in, Butterfly. Glad you guys are here. Butterfly, do you have another name you'd like to go by, or would you let me call you Butterfly? I know I've seen you over on William's channel. We always call you Butterfly over there, but I'm willing to call you whatever you want to call, whatever you would like me to call you. Amanda says she gets restless legs in her right leg, and laying down with a blanket is the only thing that helps. Absolutely. So when I go to bed at night, I go to bed with the dog on my legs. I don't always have the dog on my legs all night. Like, he will get up and move, but he knows he's allowed to do that. Welcome in, Laura. Oh, she has to be lurking tonight. Oh, you're good. You're good. Oh, call you Butterfly. I can do that. I will absolutely do that. I actually have a butterfly on my arm. Oh, goodness. So, yeah, you want to make sure that the weighted blanket isn't super heavy or too heavy for you. Now, if you have an existing weighted blanket, welcome in, Sherry. Glad you're here. I meant to come watch you earlier. I don't know what happened. I don't know how I missed. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna have to go watch replay, guys. I'm going to have to go watch replay. I can't talk. I just can't talk. All right. Let me move this iron out of you guys' way so you guys can still see the scale. Because we'll be coming back to it. I promise. All right, so now I'm doing a 1/4 inch seam. And what that means, what I'm basically doing with doing this French seam is I am preventing the possibility, even the remote possibility, that any of these little weighted beads can fly out through a seam. Your thread can eventually break. It breaks down over time. It really does. But so we have an inner seam inside, and then we have this French seam over the top that is going to hold everything in as well. Joy says she has a heated mattress pad cover, and to her it has helped the restless legs. Yes, that it will help. I have that too. I have a heated pad on my mattress as well, but it doesn't always help me enough. So I could actually probably use this, but it's gonna be tiny. It's gonna be tiny. But that's what I get for making it out of one fat quarter, not making it out of two. But I don't have a lot of beads either. This is what's left over from the weighted lap pad that I was making. And the mom wanted me to make that 20 pounds, and I made it 18.6. That was as close as I could get with literally shoving every last bead in there that I could. Okay, so this way you guys can see it. Okay, so that is my 1/4 inch seam. I'm not worried about the little fray. It's not a big deal. And so it is wrong sides out right now. So I'm going to flip it so that it is right sides out, and I'm going to press it again. So I'm going to poke my little corners out as much as I can. So, you can decorate this however you want. Like I was saying earlier, you could always, if you put, like if you want to do like a quilt bed runner and make that weighted, just make sure you back the back of your quilt with a muslin. So it's 2 layers instead of 1, just so you don't have beads working their way through the little seams in your quilt piece, because you don't want to wake up one morning and find that all of your little beads are seeping through, and they will make a mess. Ask me how I know. Oh my gosh. Ask me how I know. Has anybody made one of these before? Has anybody made a weighted blanket? Anybody in the chat? You guys made a weighted blanket before? This is not my first one by any means. I've done these for years. Anytime somebody asks if somebody can make one, I have no problems volunteering because I've done it a time or two and I know a thing or two. It's one of those. It's the Farmers Insurance commercial. I've seen a thing or two. I know a thing or two because I've seen a thing or two. Something like that. Is that the Farmers Insurance commercial? I love those commercials. I think it's better than the Allstate, the Mayhem commercials. I do like those too. Butterfly button, Aliso and travel. Oh, it isn't. It should have auto shut off. It should. That's strange. It should. Because mine shuts off after 5 minutes if it's sitting down on the pad, and then 10 minutes if it's sitting up. So I'm kind of shocked. This is new to Joyce. Okay. And Amanda says, but her grandkids will love them. Oh, yes, they will. Welcome in, Gladys. Glad you're here. These are great for like calming down. They're especially a lighter weight one for the little ones. It would be something that they could just sit on their lap and will help chill them out a little bit. And if it's not super heavy, then it's not, they'll probably play with it a little bit, but it won't be like offensively hard. Okay, so here's what I'm gonna do. I'm measuring this, and it is actually coming out at 16 inches across. You want to measure your weighted blanket size once you have an idea of what your finished size is going to be. So I've got 16 inches. That's 26 to 36. Oh no, 20 to 36. I can't math. 20 to 36. So I have actually, if I want to do 2-inch channels, which is what I'm going to do on this one, I have 8 spots to do those. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, and you can do this however you do this best. You can do this by marking with pins. You can do a chalk marker. This is my air and water soluble ink that I'm going to use. But it's, I'm not worried if this stays on here. If you are worried about your lines staying, then you might want to choose a method that's going to completely go away. And you may not want to necessarily choose something that you have to wash. So, for me, it doesn't matter on this project, but if it matters to you that these lines disappear, make sure you test it on a swatch and make sure your lines are going to be able to disappear once you've put stitching through them, because the last thing you want to do is have to redo all this. If it's a new one, it should go to sleep. It will cut the heat, but not fully shut off. Previous model stated, oh, okay. I am making a weighted blanket, and this is going to be a very tiny one. I've been asked multiple times because I do make these, like anytime, I see a post on Facebook or something about, somebody needs a weighted blanket, or does anybody know of anybody, I always volunteer because I know how much these have helped me in the past. And I know how much they've helped others that I've made them for. So I have no problems making lots of these. So that is not an issue. So, all right. So I have 8 vertical lines, okay? So my opening is down here where I am. And then my folded edge, yours will be sewn. If you've got too short a fabric, yours will be sewn. And then I've got both of my sewn edges, okay? Let me actually move it over just a hair so it's in front of my camera a little bit better. All right, so we're sitting with that. So every marking that I have on mine is 2 inches. You can do, I am liking it, Katie. Thank you. Yeah, it's been fantastic moving out here. It's different. My space is definitely different. I'm still getting used to it, but I do like it. Thank you. So whatever measurement you do width-wise, you kind of want to do about the same height-wise. Unless you really like the look of, rectangles, squares tend to work really, really well for this. So I'm going to my ruler isn't big enough to mark the whole way across. So I'll mark part of it and then I will come mark the rest of it. And the marking it now makes a lot of sense. Yes, I will be using the plastic weighted pellets. Yeah, these are, and let's see, they are just, I mean, they're tiny. They're tiny. They're like the tip of a pen. They're tiny, but they have a lot of heft. This is about 1.5 pounds, and this is a quart size bag, I think. Let's see, will you be able to sew now or sew later now? Yes, I actually can. I can sew a lot later than I used to be able to. I can't quilt on my quilter because that thing is loud. Like on my quilt frame, that's way too loud. But I've been able to get away with sewing late, and we've had no banging on the ceiling. So that's been a good thing. So when you decide what you want for your squares, and this can be any measurement. Mine, it just worked out that 2 inches was a perfect measurement for me. But whatever your measurement is, mark the whole piece of one side of your weighted blanket. Mark the whole piece because it's going to be a lot harder to mark this once you start putting the pellets in, and I will show you why. Okay, so I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 times 32. And I'm not going to count this top section. We're going to close this top section up after we sew this top row. So we may actually turn this down. You can add binding to it. You can do a lot of different things to the top of your, let me pull it into the camera. You can do a lot of different things with the top edge once everything is done. Let's see, Zaza's never made one, but her son's denim quilt is heavy and he really loves it. Yeah, absolutely. Denim quilts are incredibly heavy. I've got a group that I'm going to be teaching rag quilts to, and we're going to be using denim and corduroy. So those are going to be incredibly heavy too. But that's the cheap, fast, and dirty way to make a weighted blanket. This is the official way to make a weighted blanket. We're just going to go with that. Okay, so I've got 32 different holes to fill. But first thing we're going to do is we're going to come back and we're going to start sewing all of our vertical lines. Okay, so we're going to leave our channels open here at the top. And we're basically going to make a channel all the way down. So let me go ahead and sew these and I will show you. If you have a walking foot, now is the time to use it. If you've got dual feed, that works well too. Broke the washing line the first time I washed it. Yes. Yeah, denim quilts are incredibly heavy. I made rag quilts for my dogs years and years ago. They've now gone to whatever, like the, hi Tasha. Oh, Tasha, hi. I'm glad you're here. I'm glad somebody said hi to you because your little bitty line was like, I don't know. Maybe I couldn't see. I don't know. It's possible I just didn't see. I'm blind sometimes. Now, you can stop the channel when you get past that last line, and that's what I'm going to do. But you can also go all the way off the fabric, okay? And I'm going to show you in just a second once I get all these sewn. I've got 7 of them to sew. But you do want to backstitch at the bottom and at the top because you're going to be putting some stress on this as you put it together. And I'm using white thread because, again, this is a test project for me. This is not anything that I plan to keep or need to use or whatever. So, I'll hang on to it, but it's not important to me to match the thread color to the fabric. But if you are sewing this for yourself or someone else, and this is your final one, if you're not doing a test like I am, then go ahead and match your thread colors. You can do contrasting thread colors. That would be really pretty. I've seen like pink ones that are done with purple thread. I did a blue and green frog one for a little one. That was one of my first ones that I did. And I used some blue and I used some yellow and I used some green threads, just depending on where I was sewing. And it absolutely added to it. Made my son a double-sided t-shirt quilt. Is pretty much a weighted quilt. Oh yeah, I don't recommend that either. She's like, FYI, I don't recommend. Yeah, I'm with you. T-shirt quilts are really heavy. The last t-shirt quilt that I made, I did not add interfacing because I was piecing it together and Tetrising it all. Oh my gosh, it was painful to work on. It was done, but it was painful. Welcome in, Becky. Glad you're here. Glad you're here. So yeah, t-shirt quilts can be very heavy. And then if you partner flannel with denim, those get really heavy. And then if you add, like if you're making a rag quilt, for example, if you make that with batting in it too, those get insanely heavy. Your washing machine will not thank you for that. That's when you go to the laundromat to use somebody else's machine so that you don't have all that fluff and the offshoots from the denim and all that in your machine. Sweating trying to quilt, I bet. Oh my gosh. I remember, so the t-shirt quilt that I did that I was having to Tetris together, the only appropriate quilting design I could do at the time was going to be a crosshatch. Oh my gosh. 1.5 inches apart. Linda, welcome in. She's doing a little sewing while listening. Perfect. Yeah. I did a 1.5 inch crosshatch. So, one set of diagonal lines and then 1.5 inches apart is the next set. And then, of course, you go back and do the opposite direction. Oh my gosh, crazy heavy. Sometimes it's better we don't know these things when we start them. That denim quilt killed my first sewing machine when I quilted it. Oh, I bet it did, Zaza. Welcome in. It's Kennedy. Welcome in, Debbie. Glad you guys are here. Oh, that's fine. I started a few minutes early, and then didn't actually start on this until then. So what I am making is I am working on an example of a weighted blanket. So we are doing the mini version. My son's denim quilt has batting and a flannel backing. Oh my gosh, Zaza. I can imagine that your sewing machine was saying some choice words. Oh my goodness. I have sewn through a sewing machine before. And when I say I sewed through, I was telling that to a sewing machine technician, like fixing a sewing machine. And I said, yeah, no, I sewed through that machine. And he's like, what do you mean sewed through? I said, the gears melted. He said, oh yeah, you really sewed through. I was like, yep. Lesson learned though. Yes. Yes. That is the one that you quilt as you go. That when I do rag quilts, I quilt as you go because there is no way that I'm going to try to pull all of that through a machine once I have it all put together. But you really can't do that with some t-shirt quilts because, it just depends on how you're assembling it. But oh my gosh, what a mess. Yeah, I have not, knock on wood, I have not sewn through a Bernina yet. So we're still going good. It's Kennedy is also cooking dinner. What are we having? What are we having tonight? Or do I want to know? All right. So I'm going to show you guys what I've got. Let me trim these threads off so you guys don't have all these threads hanging in your face, making a distraction, because they will do that. Loose threads are distracting. Oh, I cannot wait to be out of this brace again, guys. Where I can actually use my hand. My hand is... Yeah, okay. Enough about my hand. It's my personal struggle. Okay, so here is the marked side. Okay. And let's see. Chicken fajitas. Oh, I'm jealous. Okay, so I have got this stitched. Let me see if I can get my fingers in here. Okay, I've got this stitched. Like, I didn't stitch all the way to the end. Okay. But you can see my fingers are going into different channels. So yeah, it's a channel all the way down. Let's see, when I make rag quilts, I learned to take a butter knife and run it over the ragged edges and take it outside and shake the heck out of it. Yeah, I will have my kids do that, but no, I'm not doing that. I just fight with it. The rag quilts I done made the top and back out of fleece. I did not seem to have issues with sewing them. Oh no, these are different. No comment on hands. I just like those braces. Sewing won't help. Oh yeah, on the brace, yeah, no. Oh yeah. Okay, sorry about the extra noise. I apologize. Okay, so I have 32 slots for beads. Okay. With that being said, I can probably fit all of this into this one piece of fabric. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to weigh this with the bag, because I'm not taking it out of the bag, and just see what we're dealing with. All right, 718 grams. And I'm going to pull up Google real quick. You guys won't be able to see it, so I apologize. 718 grams to pounds. So we are just at 1.58292 pounds, okay? And that is with the bag. Not a fan of the rag quilts made with cotton fabric or flannel. I understand that. I understand. It's not for everybody. All right. But, okay, so 718. There we go. 718. And we're going to divide this up into 32 slots, okay? So I need to put about 22 grams. I'm just going to round it. It's like 22.4375. Why wouldn't you take it out of the bag? My vacuum cleaner is still in my garage, so no, I'm not taking it out of the bag. All right, so I'm going to reset my scale. So now it's sitting there with, it's not weighing anything extra. So I'm going to put 22 grams or thereabouts in the scooper, and we're at 23. That's close. Okay, so I have one scoop of beads. So I'm going to do it over here so you guys can see what I'm going to do, okay? So I'm going to take my whole piece, and we're going to do this 8 times. This is depending on how many slots you have. I have 8 slots, so we're doing 8s. We're going to do this 8 times. I'm going to take a funnel and hold that funnel into that channel. And I forgot about the shake deal. But we're basically going to put the funnel, we're making sure that the funnel is going into the slot we want, and we're going to shake it in. Or we're going to pour it out and I'm going to restart, which is what's going to happen. And I dropped a few. So yeah, it happens. And 2 reminders of runaway beads, right? I did a lot of runaway bead catching when I made the weighted lap pad. So if you pour it in, let's see if I can get it in the camera. If you pour it in a little bit at a time, it will tend to go down your funnel easier. You can make a paper funnel. You could make a fabric funnel. You can get, you can make a bigger hole. Oh, yay! Susan is on her way home after another day of shop hopping. Did you find a lot of good deals? I'm curious. All right. So we pour it in as slowly as we can manage. Okay. because you want it to go all the way to the bottom of your channel. Okay. So we now have all of our beads into that channel. And this is going to end up being a tight fit. So you guys will get to see the little bit of struggle that goes along with it, but that's okay. So we're going about 22 grams again. And you might get this right the first time or two, and you might not, and that's okay. It is entirely up to you. So I do not know if they are fire resistant. I doubt that they are fire resistant. I would have to go back to the Amazon listing where I bought mine. There's a lot of different brands out there. Welcome in, Terry. Oh, what's cooking, right? I am working on a sample size weighted blanket. But a lot of people are asking questions, or they're talking about what they're cooking for dinner. So yeah, let me know what you're having for dinner. I know somebody's having chicken fajitas and somebody else is having Chinese. So I don't know about the fire resistant, and as far as the environmentally friendly, they are polymer beads, Katie. So I honestly do not know. But all of my beads will get vacuumed up. They will not get just thrown into the water system or whatever. So I'm honestly not sure. But if that is something that is important to watch for you, then absolutely take that into consideration when you're purchasing beads for this purpose. I would not recommend going to find glass beads because you are going to be creating friction with these once they go into the weighted blanket. Debbie is having tacos and her husband is making, I'm jealous. Oh, Pam's having PB&J. That's not a bad dinner. It's an even better lunch, but it's not a bad dinner. I don't know. But I would not put glass beads in here. Oh, Zaza had pancakes. Well, aren't you special? Just kidding. I'm kind of jealous. I haven't had pancakes in I don't know how long. I might have to find some pancake stuff that I can have that agrees with me. Pancakes sound really, really good. Oh, Debbie, that's a result, is what Zaza said. Oh, the husband fixing them, yeah. See, when we have tacos, my husband fixes them too. Let's see, Zaza for breakfast for summer. Yes, yes, Joyce, absolutely. Susan had hamburger and fries. I don't know the last time I had a hamburger. I have had one in last month. It was not a beef burger. It was something else. Roasted chicken thighs with rice. Okay. That works. Let's see. Oh, welcome in, Carrie. Glad you're here. This is the weighted blanket tutorial night. Oh, the weighted blanket tutorial night. That's what we're going to call it tonight. All right. So we're going for another 22. Nope, that's 29. I don't need that much. And it's 24. So just still a little bit too much. That's 21. That's close enough. Terry says her 2 weeks long son-in-law's slow cooking some ribs with one of his wedding gifts. Oh, that's fantastic. Congratulations on adding a son-in-law to the family. That's great news. As long as you like him. And if you don't like him, as long as he cooks good, you know? Oh. My parents absolutely love my husband, so. Which works really well because, you know, they call and talk to him more than they talk to me. It's just crazy. All right. We are getting there. I've got 3 more to go. And then we're going to seal this row off. All right. And all I'm doing each time is I am just moving the funnel into the next channel. Now, if you sew all the way to the top, when you do this, like let's say I sewed these channels all the way to the top, it is a little bit harder to hang on to the top of the blanket as you are adding beads. This is definitely a project to have an extra table hanging around, especially for a twin size quilt or twin size weighted blanket or anything like that. You want to have a lot of extra room and table surface. You do not want to be holding it like this. By the second or third row, it's going to be way too heavy. Now, one thing I didn't say, so we measured the weight of the beads. One thing I did not do is I did not measure the weight of my fabric. When you are making a twin size, or I mean even a lap size, measure the weight of your, this is the little weighted beads. Hang on, I'll show them to you. Let me get this scoop in there. Or I'm not going to drop them because I've dropped them before. So they look kind of like, almost like rice, but they're polymer beads. And they are sold specifically for the purpose of making weighted items. Okay, so that's a very good question, Zaza. You did not miss it. The size of your pockets depends on how many times you want to do this. So my piece here was 18 or 16 inches across. So dividing that by 8 gave me 2-inch pockets. If you were doing a twin size, let's say you're doing a 60 by 80 quilt, you would not want 60 channels because that's going to take forever. You could do 2-inch channels. You're going to have 32-inch channels. So it's depending on what you want to do. So if you're going to do a 60 by 80, I would actually do probably a 3-inch panel or a 3-inch 3-inch spot, because then you'd have 20 to do. It would be a lot less to do. They look like beanbag filling. They do. You can actually use them for beanbag filling. They're going to be kind of heavy. Typically, the beanbag filling is more like puffed rice compared to these. But this will wash well. Joyce was asking if you could use crushed walnut shells. You can. The problem is the washing. That is going to be the problem. The nice thing with these polymer beads is they wash beautifully. So a good test to see whether or not what you want to use as your weight, see whether or not it would work, is make a small little sachet, just like a small little pincushion size, with your walnut shells, and then see if it washes. See if it washes and dries. See how convenient that is for you. And some people are allergic to different kinds of nuts. So you would want to make sure that whoever you're giving it to, if you make it with walnut shells, you've got to make sure that they and their family are not allergic to nuts or walnuts specifically. All right. So now I have all 8 of my channels and I have all of them filled with the approximate amount, okay? So one thing I'm going to do, yeah, I'm going to do this. All right, let me grab my zipper foot and I will explain why in just a second. And Carrie and Rita probably remember this one because I was struggling with this on that weighted lap pad because it was so full. So yeah, okay. So as you are sewing this, you can use a regular foot, you can use a walking foot, you can use whatever you want. However, because my channels are really, really, really full, like they're big full. The bigger your blanket is, the more spread out your weight has to be. Right, the zipper foot. The more spread out everything is, the more likely the beads are going to shift as you start to sew. If the beads shift as you start to sew, if you have a foot, and this is my regular 1/4 inch foot, if you can see where my finger is underneath it, you can see that there is a channel up underneath that foot. And what happens is the beads move, and these toes guide the beads straight towards the needle. I broke 3 needles that way. Oh, you're fine, Andy. Welcome in. You're fine. You're not that late. You're good. You're good. So we're going to use the zipper foot. And if you guys can see it, there we go. Putting it up against the white of the machine. It has a channel for the needle on either side, and it's going to push things out of the way. So I may accidentally miss a bead that I might have wanted to go in that little pocket, but it's going to protect my needle and it's going to prevent me from accidentally sewing into the bead, okay, with the needle. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place for your first probably 2 rows, maybe 3, you can put your channels up underneath your machine. After that, you're going to have to swap to the other direction, okay? So I'm going to show you, or I'm going to get in here and go ahead and sew this. Oh, thank you, Katie. Hit the thumbs up. Yeah, smart thinking. It's live and learn. It's live and learn. I really lived and learned on that one. I really did. Hal, could you stop, please? Thank you. Now you can backstitch on this as well. Depends on your comfort level with sewing this, okay? So if you feel like your beads are shifting and you're not able to get that backstitch in, don't panic about it, okay? Do not panic about it. I'm moving the beads with my fingers. I spent a lot of time doing this on the retreat, trying to make this. And normally your channels will not be this full. And so the next row, I'm going to show you what your channels probably should look like. So you may have to rethink your sizes depending on how much weight you're trying to put in and what size you're trying to make. So yeah, this row is going to be really, really full. What's up with my wrist? Great question. So I have de Quervain's tendinosynovitis. That's a big word. But I have a cyst on the tendon that runs to my thumb. And I started having issues with it last July. And I was seeing physical therapy about it and was supposed to see the surgeon this January. I don't have insurance now, so I can't go see the surgeon. So I am just having to live with bracing it every night. And the other day, I was folding laundry, of all things. I was folding laundry, and I don't know what I did, but I was seeing stars, and it hurt. So we are back to wearing the brace full time until probably for 2 weeks or so, something like that. So I think I did this last week. So I think I'll be wearing it for probably another week and a half full time. And then I'll try to ease back out of wearing it all the time. So it's nothing I can do anything about until until I can get to the surgeon and she can do something about it. Yeah, it's frustrating. It's frustrating. It's the one thing about de Quervain's is if it's not handled properly, you don't take care of it. The warning is that you could potentially lose the use of your thumb. And so I'm trying to avoid that. Let's see. It's usually the small things that cause the problems. I sneeze and put my back out, right, Zaza? Oh, not laughing about your back, but it is usually the small things. You are not wrong. You are so not wrong. I've been pushing myself with trying to get things quilted and get things done, and yeah, I've pushed my wrist a little bit too much, and so the laundry was the last straw. Like my wrist said, no, you're done. You're done. You're done. You're just done. All right, there we go. And I may have to check my messages here in a minute because I did get one just a second ago, and I'm waiting on something. All right. Let's see. I am through 3 channels. Yeah, we're not packing all of these this thick. This was way too thick again. I should have just scaled it down. But I'm going to do this because I want to show you guys what it should look like and what it shouldn't look like. Because that's key to know, because if you've never seen what it should look like and what it shouldn't look like, it's kind of important to know that, to see that difference. All right. Ooh, we almost found a bead, guys. We almost found one. I do know where my needles are. So if I break another needle, I have more and they're handy. I just don't like doing that. Ricky doesn't like that. Ricky doesn't like being abused like that. She'll sew through it, but she doesn't like it. Did you guys see the short about the special guests? I'm so excited about it, guys. I'm so insanely excited. It should have a lot of give in it. Yeah, it should. And right now it doesn't. And I'm gonna show you what that looks like once I get this row done. Oh, Carrie. She said, thanks, Katie, for the asthma talk. You woke mine up. Just kidding. I know how that is, Carrie. This weather coming through is wreaking havoc on people's health. It's just, and we're both in the Midwest, or well, we're a little bit more Western than Midwest, but Carrie saw it. Yay! I am so excited about the guests, guys. I am so insanely excited. I haven't had these guests on here before. Well, I don't know. I can't tell you any more than that. I have not had this combination of guests on here. We'll put it that way. I have very special guests coming. All right. We got 3 more channels to do after this one. Let's get the beads out of the way. Yeah, this is why you don't want to do them really full. All right. You guys get to see me struggle with it so you don't struggle with it. That's what I'm here for. I'm here for it. I'm here for every last bit of it. So, I mean, as you saw, I weighed out 22 grams or thereabouts. I was aiming for 22 grams per channel, and for a 2x2 block, that is way too much of this style bead. Your beads are going to vary. Your little, poly beads or whatever you use is going to vary from anybody else's. And, unless everybody buys the same brand of beads or something. I can't even fit all of them in there on some of these. I'm having to just bite the bullet. They're not going in there. It's not nice to tease. Oh, I think you'll enjoy it. So this Sunday, you got to set your reminders. Started giving you guys a heads up 1 week out. And as Sean said on Sunday night, He just knows it's not him. He'll be back. He's just not the special guest for this Sunday. He's not either of the two special guests for this Sunday. I'm just so excited. I can't wait for you guys to meet these people, these guests. Yeah. I'm not saying anymore. Not saying anymore. They are very special guests. Very special guests. All right. I am next to last channel right now, and the zipper foot is definitely helping push everything out of the way. So if you do struggle, then swap to your zipper foot and use your zipper foot. If you don't know what your zipper foot is, you can pull up your machine manual. You can use our lovely Google friend to help you figure that out. Okay? So you've got lots and lots of options. So, all right. I think I'm on the last channel. And then I can show you guys where we're at. Charlotte's laughing at Carrie saying it's not nice to tease. Oh. If I didn't tease you guys that it's coming, would you even know that there's a special surprise? Oh, goodness. Okay. I have a bead underneath my foot somehow. It managed to make it in there. Okay. We're just going to call it quits on this one. You know what? If you get stuck, just hand wind. Better than breaking a needle. Okay. All right. We are hand wound. All right. We're all the way across. All right. So keep in mind I can't drop this because I have beads that are not in the channels. Okay. This is not what they should look like. Okay. Yeah, you're good, Gary. So this is not what they should look like. These are very, very firm. You can't really press them in very much. This is not what they should look like. Okay. This light is so stinking bright. Okay. Let's see if that helps. Oh, okay. That helps a little bit. Okay. So see how they look kind of like those little raviolis, those little really, really thickly stuffed raviolis. Okay. They should not be stuffed this thick. Okay. Welcome in, Teresa. Glad you are here. Thank you. Thank you. So this is overfilled. Okay. So if you are finding that your grid is going to be overfilled like this, stop here, go ahead and rip out this row of stitching and recalculate what you're going to do. Okay. Calculators are your friend on this. You will want to use a calculator. Okay. Figure out what your new ratio is going to be. But you've got to weigh your fabric as well as your beads to know what you want your ratio to be. All right, so we're going to fill the next row, and I'm going to fill it with less beads this time. And I am going to use the scale, even though, you know, I know about where I should be with them. We're going to go a little bit less, just because I can. All right, that's better. So we're going to go a little bit less just to give this a little bit more room. So I did that so that you guys would see, like I went ahead and left it so you guys would see just how off or how different it can be and how difficult it can be. So I don't recommend doing them like pillow pocket full. It might actually be enough that you could actually hurt somebody if you pick it up and like sling it. So if you're looking for a weapon, that would be how to make it. But I don't recommend that. And I'm not going with an exact weight this time, in case you're wondering. I'm just going about half of the 24. 24 was what we were using before. And as long as it's around half of that, that's what I'm going with. Some of these channels already have some beads still left in them, and I'm not taking those out. If you are a little OCD and knowing that there's a channel with different, or a spot with different, quantities of beads as far as weight, if that's going to bother you, then fix it. Okay? You have my permission. I am making a weighted blanket sample, Teresa. I've got beads left over from my last client that asked me to make a weighted lap pad. And I've had some people ask me how to make a weighted blanket. So that's what we've been discussing tonight, is all the different things I've learned. Yeah, this one's going to be a sample. Absolutely a sample. That's for sure. Because it's not even going to be the same size throughout. But a lot of people ask me how to make a weighted blanket. And if you want to tackle it on your own, go be my guest. I will make it for you. I do not mind. But it will be expensive to ship. You'd have an idea after the first pocket if it was too full. Yeah, you would. You would. But if you manage to make it all the way to the end, and, then you're like sitting there thinking about it, then you could go in and change that. Oh, that's definitely not enough. That's like way less than half. Hang on, let me get a little bit more. All right, that's better. That's closer. So I'm cutting it in about half because that's about where you're going to want to see it. So even if I show this to you guys right now, and I'm going to show it to you, it's not going to make a lot of sense until that line is sewn. That's when you're going to be able to see how full these channels are. Now, because they are half full, I can now go back to my regular 1/4 inch foot. Just make sure if you're changing feet, make sure to change your needle position. Don't forget to put your needle back in their correct position for the foot that you're using. All right. So when you put this back on the machine, let's say we are on row 3 or 4. We're probably going to stop after this, okay? Because I'll show you guys how I would finish it. And I'll finish it later, maybe. I don't know. I don't know what I'll do. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. So we're going to sew this row, but I'm going to put it like this under my machine, okay? So the open fabric, the open channels is going to be closer to my machine. Pro tip. Pro tip. At your top, take and fold your blanket over and close the channels. That way, if you happen to drop it, if you happen to not keep a good hand on it, it happens to get too heavy, you get interrupted, dog pulls the sewing machine cord or the iron off the table, any number of things. All of those things that can normally happen in a sewing room. You accidentally spill your drink, whatever. Pin the top of your channels, okay? They are just pinned in place. That way, if I drop this, the beads are not going to go everywhere. It might still be catastrophic. It still might be a cry from me if I drop it, but it's not going to be catastrophic. Absolutely, Zaza. Good night to you. Thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Oh, you know what? These are still pretty full. They're still pretty full. Okay. I'm going to have to bounce it down for a minute. All right. You know what? We're going back to the zipper foot just because I can. When your channels are bigger, which mine can't be any bigger than this, when your channels are bigger, you have more flexibility. Just going to say that. Just going to say. This is the first one that I've never been able to use the regular foot on. Maybe it's just me. Maybe I put more beads in there than I thought I did. Anything is possible. Anything is entirely possible. All right. Now, you don't change your direction every time you stitch. You just change the direction after that first row. Ah, Joyce is right behind you. I'm going to bed. Ah, I understand that, guys. I feel like it too. I may be going to bed soon too. Oh, I was going to check that message. Oh my gosh. All right, bear with me just a second. I need to make sure it's not something I had to respond to. Okay. It's not anything I have to respond to. We're good. All right. We're going to sew this row, and I'm going to show you what it's going to look like. Once I get the beads out from underneath my presser foot. I feel like I'm like, you know, when you feel like you're put on the spot and suddenly everything goes wrong? I'm hitting that point. I don't feel like everything's going wrong, but I just feel like it's about to everything go wrong, and I don't know why. I just have that ominous feeling, guys. All right. So I'm going to stop with my needle down, and I'm going to push beads. Oh, how's your finger, Katie? Is asking Teresa Louise. No, it's early. Oh, you've been up way early, Joyce. That's crazy. 3 a.m. I am not that much of a morning person. I could not do it. If I had been up since 3, I would have been taking a nap at some point today. I would not be functional at this point. My hat is off to you. Not that I wear a hat usually, but my hat is off to you. All right. Oh, I sewed outside of the lines, so that's probably why this second channel is a little bit more full than I intended. Okay. There we go. I have beads moving into the way. All right. Oh, everybody's asking about your finger now, Katie. Oh my gosh. Please tell me you're all right. All right. I remember you saying that you cut it cooking. If I'm remembering correctly. Nobody come at me, okay? Nobody come at me. Oh. So let's see. She's like, oh yeah. Did you forget about your finger, Katie? Just gotta ask. So let's see. Oh gosh, Joyce. My hat is still definitely off to you because being up that early is not my thing. Oh gosh, Katie. Okay. So let's see. Thursday, I have Kathy from My Hobby Homecoming, guys. So if you've not already made plans to be there, you will want to be there. We are on the downward swing. We have 11 weeks left. So we are going to end July 31st, right after my Christmas in July. If you've not heard about Christmas in July, we are going to do that probably, I'm still thinking, on July 29th, same day as the Super Chat giveaway. So if you've put a Super Chat in the chat, or you've done a Super Thanks or anything like that, you are entered already to win. So the Super Chat will be July 29th. And let's see. Super Chat giveaway will be then. The quilt auction will be then for Christmas in July. So if you were looking for a Siberian Wind made quilt, and quilted by Siberian Wind as well, those will be available for auction on July 29th. So she got in a fight with a fillet knife. That's one way to put it. That's one way to put it. You got in a fight with a knife and the knife won. All right. Now that I'm past those first two that were giving me such a pain, it's going a little bit faster. It's going a little bit faster. I feel like I should have pre-measured. Deboning a chicken. I'm with you, Joyce. No, that's not my thing. I don't bother with that stuff. That is my husband's job. No. I actually have cut gloves so that I don't cut my fingers when I peel potatoes, guys. That is how clumsy I am in the kitchen when it comes to knives and such. So I have to wear cut gloves because I cannot tell you how many times I've cut my fingers just peeling potatoes. So yeah, I'm not the kitchen person. That is why my husband is the cook in the family. He's good at it. He enjoys it. If he didn't enjoy it, I would still do it. But I'm very much a klutz. Yep, gotta watch your fingers, Katie. I wouldn't know the first thing about trying to do what you were doing when you cut your finger. I would have cut my finger with you. All right. That last channel's going really easy. That's awesome. Charlotte says that's why she didn't peel anything. Well, some of my dishes that I make for like Christmas and such, those I help with. Okay. So here's the second row. Okay. So first row is really, really thick. Second row, I don't know if you guys can tell. Like first row, if I try to push my finger in, it doesn't really go in. Second row, I can actually dig my finger in. So even though it kind of looks like a pillow pocket, there's still some room in it. Whereas in the bottom row, there's no room whatsoever. Okay. So you want to have a little bit of room for beads to move around in your channels. Okay. Once you get done with that, you can do a lot of different options for finishing out this top. You can fold it over like what I've done when I pinned it and fold it over again and just sew. You can add bias binding or regular binding or flat binding. You can add binding to the top. Just make sure that if you do add binding that you double stitch it. So you stitch it down once and then you go back and you stitch it a second time. You want to make sure that you have enough stitches in there that it's not going to come loose. So if I were going to finish this where it is right now, of course I would trim off some extra fabric. But once I did that, I've still got a few beads in the channel, so I'm having to move the beads out of the way. You will have a finished edge up at the top that is, maybe about 1/4 of an inch thick. You can have it about half of an inch thick as well. You can put this at the side. You can put this at the bottom. You can put this wherever you want to put the end to it. So you can plan that out when you are planning how you want to do your pillowcase or how you want to do, how you want to do your weighted blanket. What do you guys think? Is this making sense? Is it clicking? And I still have quite a few beads left, guys. I've not used nearly half of them, so I still have quite a few beads left. It's not the first time Katie's injured herself cutting up chicken. It's just, yeah, dumb thing happened. Yeah, I'm with you on that. All right, so this right here, just these 2 rows with the pins included. I'm going to put it on the scale and I'm going to change it. We are 10 pounds, 8 ounces. Okay, so we're at 10 pounds, 8 ounces for just this little piece right here. That doesn't sound right. Because if this whole thing was 1.5 pounds, hang on. Oh, 10.8 ounces. This is why I don't use ounces, guys. This is why I use grams. It is 306 grams, so 10.8 ounces. Butterfly is listening in the background. Fantastic. Fantastic. Makes perfect sense. Just not decided if I'm going to try another one. I understand that, Carrie. I totally understand. Now, you could do this in a lot of different ways, but this is by far the fastest way that I found to do them. Just because I don't have it cutting into a lot. I don't have a lot of things going on with it. Charlotte does it with rice in the channels to use a hot and cold compress. Fantastic. I like that idea. I need to make one. So if you do it, okay, if you're going to do it for a hot or cold compress, if you're going to use rice, you need to use 100% cotton because if you're going to put it in the microwave, right? Because you don't want to use polyester and put polyester in the microwave. So keep that in mind. How long do you heat those up for? Because I have not thought about making, I think my husband would use one of those. Welcome in, Deborah. Glad you're here. Glad you're here. We have been working on a sample size weighted blanket. Just showing the overall process of how to put one together. Charlotte says, yes, definitely use the 100% cotton. So make sure your fabric is 100% cotton. Make sure your thread is 100% cotton. And you could do rice in the channels to make a microwave pad. You do not want to do that with the poly pellets. So these little poly beads, do not put these in the microwave, guys. Do not put them in the microwave. This came in a big bag and it was 9 pounds per bag. 2 pounds of dry rice for 2.5 minutes. Oh, okay. That works. I might make one for the husband. He would enjoy that. That could be a Christmas present. Thank you. You have given me an idea for Christmas. I cheat on my Christmas presents, guys. I make them randomly throughout the year. I already have Christmas presents for a couple of people already done. And it is not yet June. So I start early. All right. Okay, so if you just tuned in, if you want to go back and rewatch the rest, 1 cup, half to 3/4 of a minute. Okay. Well, I'll probably do about 2 pounds because he's usually going to be using it for his back, probably. If you went too long, you might have puffed rice. Oh my gosh. I think I'll just tell him to put it in for half a minute at a time, 30 seconds at a time. And flip it every time because we're high altitude too. So that can have have an effect on it. Y'all are so funny. I love it. Oh my gosh. So yes, this works really well for making weighted, or not weighted, but heated pads, heated and cold. Do you just put it in the fridge to make it a cold compress, or do you put it in the freezer? Because I think I could actually make I could make a couple to put in the freezer and put them in like a plastic container in the freezer, I think that would work. I think my husband would be okay with that. I think I could get away with it, right? So freezer. Okay, I will do that. Yay! I like that. And I have the perfect fabric. I just gotta find where it went. Oh my gosh, guys. Yes, I know I have the perfect fabric. I just gotta find what I've done with it. Ah, yes. Christmas for the win. Okay. Everybody's getting freezer packs. Oh, okay. So, um, Thursday night is Land That I Love with Kathy from My Hobby Home. We have 11 weeks left. So if you want to catch up or catch us and see what's going on, that that's the way to do it. This Sunday is I've got two special guests coming. I can't tell you anything about who they are, but I have two special guests coming. Nobody in the chat knows who they are. I promise you guys. Nobody knows anything. This has been a very, very well kept secret for a little bit. So I have two special guests coming. And then this upcoming Tuesday will be the day after Memorial Day. So the 27th of May. That means you will have 1 week from then to still get your show and tell in. If you've not already gotten your show and tell in, I've already started the show and tell quilt for October. So you want to get your show and tell in. If you do not know how to get show and tell in, please leave me a comment, send me an email. Either way, I will be happy to respond to you and let you know all the different options for how you can enter show and tell, because it is free to enter. Oh, thank you, Katie. She says, enjoy the live. Thank you for sharing. You're absolutely welcome. Thank you for being here and thank you for chatting. I appreciate it. My YouTube metrics will also appreciate it very much. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And guys, if you've not already hit that thumbs up, please do so. I will be back Thursday night. I will have probably a couple of pop-up lives coming in June. So keep in mind there's going to be a couple of pop-up lives. There's also going to be a freebie pattern coming out in June, as well as a retreat in June. So I will have more details on that by the 27th. So, by next week, I will have more details on that. So don't panic. If you don't know anything about any of it, that's okay. I will have more details next week, guys. Okay? So thank you so much for being here. Thank you for coming to hang out. You guys are what make me so happy. Just hanging out with me, just spending time. I do this because you guys show up for me. So thank you. Thank you. Oh, Susan is almost home. Well, please be safe, Susan. Drive safely.